box is ripped.
Not what I was expecting.
Huh. Am I supposed to like
Put the stickers on?
yeah, put each individual sticker on?
That's kind of what it's looking like, isn't it?
That sucks. Oh, I guess except they're in order.
Sucks a little bit less.
Kinda still sucks. Why didn't they just print this with it on? Is it in order? Where does this go? This is gonna take so long. There's gotta be a better way to do this.
Probably.
Okay, while you're watching me do this, I'm going to talk and gabber on about what I think about these markers, my experience, likes, dislikes, etc., 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 etc. As you may have heard, I was not thrilled with the idea of putting these stickers individually on every single pen, and I think that has more to do with my personality than anything. So I'm also not the person that loves to do like swatching by any means. You'll even see that I don't really swatch. I just kind of like that Artxx card that was right there was like the extent of my swatching for the most part, and then I kind of picked up pens as I went and went, oh, that pen looks good. But anyway, I like having the numbers on each pen because I think that it could be helpful for if you get like another pack, or if you do your swatching and you number everything and you're like, I want a color that looks like this, and then you can reference back. But it did take quite a bit of time. It took me like 30 minutes. And like I said, I think for some people that 30 minutes could have been very enjoyable, and for me it just wasn't. And see, like I did a little bit of swatching here on the back of my Nautilus. Anyway, to the main event. So I decided to sketch and paint some turtle shells. I saw these cute little vintage posters of turtle shells, and I really wanted to recreate that. I will say I think for the two smaller shells, I ended up rushing a little bit, and I wasn't super happy with how they turned out. I think one of my biggest reasons was because the colors of these markers are just so saturated. Like, there are more muted tones, but for the most part they're all really saturated, and they're also not super dark. So I'm using this purple color to do my shadows on this shell, and of course they have like a plain black color, but I like to use either like a really muted purple or blue color a lot of the times to do the shadows on my paintings instead of just pure black. But I found I wasn't really able to achieve the colors that I would if I was mixing paint with these colors, and I think that that's kind of a similar thing that I've heard other artists say about these markers, is that there's just not a lot of variety when it comes to the darker tones. But overall, I was really enjoying the way that they like flow across the page and how they feel when you're using them. I also think it's really nice for like sketching and painting on the go. So I have a problem where I can really only paint in my brain if I'm sitting at the desk that you're seeing me paint at right now, which is also the desk that I'm sitting at talking to you / myself at. And so when I'm like sitting on the couch watching TV at night and I'm like, wow, I really want to paint right now, but I don't want to have to bring all of my paint supplies outside and set up like the whole shop out here instead I could just take out some markers and do that instead, which is actually, I've ended up doing that a couple of times since I did this first kind of full sketch with these markers. I'm doing like a little pigeon painting. It's super cute. The pigeons are kissing. And the border that I'm doing around the pigeons is just 2 colors. And so I was able to take 2 markers and just do it outside while I was watching TV, which was really nice because it gets me out of the spot that I'm sitting in for usually over 8 hours a day, because this is where I do my day job from. And it just like gets me to a new place, and then I can kind of multitask-ish watching Ted Lasso and painting pigeons at the same time. Okay, so I got, as you might have seen, the 96 color pack. 96 color? Is it 96 color? I don't think it's 96 colors. I got the 90 color pack. I just have to look at the box. And I got that because I have an issue kind of where I'm like all or nothing in a lot of ways. So when I first got my alcohol ink markers, I was like, I have to get every color under the sun because I need to have like as much variety as I possibly can to do everything that I possibly can, right? Knowing, of course, that with alcohol markers, supposedly, you can layer and like get the colors kind of that you want to get. I'm not super well versed in them. I can make a video though of me trying to make something with them. That Nautilus that you saw initially when I was swatching in the first section was done with alcohol markers, and I've been trying to get into them. Anyway, talk about the alcohol or the acrylic markers. So I got the 90 color pack because I wanted as much variety as I could have, and then of course you open it and you look at it and you're like, and then I start using it and I'm like, I really wish that I had this color. So I really wish that A, there were more muted tones, and B, that there was a higher diversity and more colors in the brown section. So you've seen me use 3 browns. Technically I used 2 different browns on like that darker shell color, but they look very, very similar, especially as you're looking at them on the camera. They actually look a little more different in real life. One of them is like more of a red brown and the other one is more of a yellow brown. And then I'm using that, like, it's kind of like a reddish, tannish, orangish brown, but it is still kind of brown, but it's verging more on orangey, reddy color than anything. And of course I'm painting turtle shells, which are, they are vibrant and exciting, but they've got a lot of brown in them. So I wasn't feeling like I could totally achieve the like variety of colors that I wanted to. I didn't really go into, in this little sketching situation, blending the colors, because you can blend them while they're wet. I just didn't get that fancy with it. So that's another thing that I really wish that these markers had, were more brown colors, more muted colors, darker colors. But overall, I really enjoy the way that they work. I think I only had one marker so far. Of course, I didn't swatch them, so I probably haven't used all of them. But I only had one marker that was like totally messed up when I opened it. It was really dry and the tip looked really funky. And it was kind of a bummer to discover at the time that it was messed up, because I was like, yes, I really want to use this marker. And the color was really pretty, so I was kind of bummed, but whatever. Overall, there's still a lot of colors in here that I can use. I do think, speaking of browns, just circling right back to what I was saying there, there is, I think, a skin color, like a skin tone set by Artxx. Also, wow, I guess I should have said that. I am painting with Artxx acrylic paint markers. I'll link the set that I have below so that you guys can check it out. But I've been seeing a lot of people on YouTube use these markers and like have a lot of fun with them, and so I really wanted to get them for like just general sketching purposes so that I can mess around and kind of like paint in my sketchbook without actually having to paint in my sketchbook. And so far I've been having fun. This was my first go at kind of like trying to see what it would be like and getting used to it. So in this second painting, oh, okay, hold on, let me finish my thought. There is a skin tone set, and that has, I'm assuming, a higher variety of brown colors ranging anywhere from tan to darker brown. So that would definitely help solve that problem. Okay, we're jumping into the second shell here, and as you can see, I just used black for my darker color on this one. And I'm not totally sure how I love, like I said, the two smaller ones. I think that I was getting a little bit frustrated with how the colors were working well with each other because, like I said, they're all really saturated, and then I was just having a hard time finding colors that really looked well together. And honestly, as I'm saying this right now, I think what could solve my problem is actually swatching all of the colors so that I have all of them in front of me at one time and I can go, yeah, that green actually looks good with this orange or whatever, which is kind of what I did with this shell specifically because it was very multicolored and I was just like really hating it. Also, I'm so sorry with the way that this video is shaking right now. I have, for your information, like a little arm that my camera screws onto, and it connects to my desk, and this desk is like the cheapest standing desk that I could find at the time because I was really having a hard time finding one on Facebook Marketplace. Anyway, it's so shaky, like it's just shaky for days. It's not very solid and it bugs the crap out of me, but whatever. I'm so sorry that your video is shaking right now. That's pretty unpleasant. Anyway, so I could definitely swatch the colors, see them in front of me, and then I think that this one probably would have turned out better. So as you can see, I put down a black and then I put down the same purple, actually no, I think that's a blue, like a more bluey color that I did, and then now I'm putting on this like pinkish color, going over with a bit of orange to find the right color that I needed to match my reference photo, and I was just like, yeah, this looks terrible. And I know, listen, I'm my own worst critic, but I'm really not happy with the way that the two small shells came out. But it's my sketchbook. I'm just trying to play around and learn a little bit, especially as I get used to kind of using this new medium. Next, I kind of want to try a landscape painting and see how that goes, because I think that that could be fun because there's a lot of greens that I really like. Anyway, back to Chrissy talking. So now I'm putting in some brown just to fill it in, and this is where I was like, okay, I'm over it, I'm done, and I just was not achieving the look that I really wanted to get, which was kind of a bummer. I also struggle a lot as I'm working with new mediums and just like new things in general, so like painting something new for the first time, I struggle a lot getting over the hump of like the ugly stage and really trying to figure it out, because I'm just like, wow, this looks terrible, and then eventually I get to a place where I'm like, wow, actually no, this is looking a lot better. And I think that I just was having a hard time getting past my ugly stage with these markers, where I was like, this is just looking like crap. And then this second small shell, I was just feeling really frustrated, and so I was going really quickly. Also, the right side of the shell is slightly bigger than the left side of the shell. It's going to become very apparent to you. You may already be able to see it. Look, I just messed it up even more. And that was like, I think I was in the zone in the moment while I was drawing this, because I don't fix it. Also, I'm so sorry, look at this camera shaking. But as I was editing this video, I was like, wow, that is like, does my turtle have a tumor? Like, why is the shell so much bigger right now? But it's okay. I don't end up fixing that at all. But anyway, I was just feeling really frustrated at this point with like myself for not really like taking the time to give it a go, and with the markers themselves, because I was like, you're not working for me, paint would be so much easier right now. But you know, I gotta give it its go. I'm gonna try it a couple more times for sure, and then I'm gonna get the hang of it, and I think I'm gonna really like them. But yeah, I'm also gonna try and figure out how to stabilize that camera more, because that's really annoying. I think what's causing the biggest issue is that for these two, I had to bring the arm down a little bit, and so it was moving more. That's what I'm telling myself right now. So I'll try and fix that for later. But yeah, I would be interested to see if any of you who I know are listening and caring about every single word that I'm saying would like to see me do some landscapes with these markers. I saw someone else do it. Oh my gosh, I can't remember who I was watching, but I really enjoyed the way that it was turning out, and so I wanted to try it myself. And yeah, I think I'm probably going to play around just myself a lot more too before I come back and do it on camera though, so that you can actually watch something that is, you know, nice to look at instead of me just kind of playing around trying to figure it out. But I really liked this concept of making the turtle shells because my boyfriend really likes turtles, and so I think that this would eventually be a really nice like painting poster to give him. That he also really wants one with moths and butterflies on it, so maybe I'll try and do that eventually too. Maybe I could do like a mixture of the alcohol markers and the acrylic paint markers. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of the markers themselves. If you're wondering what sketchbook I'm using, it's a multimedia sketchbook. Hold on, where is it? Maybe I can find the name of it. I think it's a multimedia Canson XL sketchbook. I feel like I might have gotten it at Walmart, and it is spiral bound, as you may have already seen, but we'll eventually see when I kind of wrap everything up. I'm not like a huge fan of it. It has what feels like so many pages, and so it's just super intimidating to like start, because I'm like, this is gonna take me forever to finish. And I was also for a while kind of like holding back on doing anything in it unless I was painting, because it has thick paper for multimedia. And then I was like, this is silly. I just need to use the sketchbook and like practice. So yeah, I am looking forward to finishing that sketchbook and getting one that is not spiral bound, because I feel like whenever I have one that's spiral bound, I just use it and abuse it, and then it messes everything up. I'm also using a like faux leather sketchbook. This one is definitely from Walmart. It's like the Pentalic, it's like their travel sketchbook or something, that they have on the art aisle. And I actually really like this sketchbook. I think that I might get another one when I'm done with this one, because the paper, it's definitely like thin paper, like this is just paper for drawing. I've put water on it a couple of times, and it's, you know, like it warps and stuff, but it's generally fine. But the paper is so smooth when I'm using pencils and pencil drawing on it. And I've been trying to teach myself how to draw faces so that I can start painting and drawing people in my work, because I really want to do that. So let's circle back to this turtle. I was definitely enjoying doing this last one more than the other two, the previous two that I was working on. I think it was because the colors were fairly basic. I think that I was still a little bit tired from just doing all this and struggling a little bit. I feel like silly for saying that I was struggling because, like, this is a pretty simple painting, but it is what it is, and I wasn't having my best day. That's just what I'll say. But I did enjoy this, and it was looking the way that I wanted it to look like as I was going through it. I did quickly do, like, the turtle head and the turtle arm, again, because I feel like I just didn't have enough dark colors to really give like the variety in texture and color that I wanted. And so it's like the black color is my darkest color, and then those two browns that are just basically like a mid-tone, and then like the light color. So it's like it just feels very it doesn't feel super cohesive. Here I am putting my highlights on with the white color. They have one like white and then one like cream white, and I really enjoy using both because they're fairly opaque. The brushes or the markers are fairly opaque, but they're not so opaque that it's like, wow, that's white in your face. They're a little bit translucent, and you have to layer them up to make them opaque, so I like the way that it looks. I also then added some purple and blue into the black color to make it just like a little more variant and look a little bit better. I kind of wish that I didn't do this because I was like, meh, I don't really know if I like it. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of what these turtle shells look like. I am really happy with the paint markers. Like I said, I'll link them below, and here's the final product.